Bojo, Kaskate Ganukwe, Nadishnakaj, Michigan Nadodam, Wikwanong, Ajudana Nadonjaba, Nijo Medeo, Ogichidakwe Nandao. My Shaganash name is Patricia Shawnoo. I come from the Shawnoo family. Today, I'd like to just talk a little bit about this beautiful water vessel. This water vessel represents Anishinaabe. It represents the responsibility that we all have as Anishinaabe to carry water, to carry life, and to ensure that everything that we put in our bodies, the way that we live, the wellness, in the way that we carry ourselves every day as Anishinaabe is very important to our future generations, and how we will bring that life here as Anishinaabe and to ensure it arrives safely and healthy. This water vessel was one of the first water vessels that started the water walks back in 2003. This was the original vessel carried by Josephine Mandaman. We started the walks with her in 2004 and did a few of them with her. And during those walks, I learned that I would become a grandmother on those walks. So our first grandson, Deontay Nimikints, that's named after the point, the Thunderbird nesting place. He's named from that. That was our first grandson, and he came during that first year that we walked on the water walks. So it's very important to acknowledge our grandmother Josephine for all the walks, for all the work that she's done for all of people, not just for Anishinaabe people, but for all people and the water walkers. And I would like to say Chimigwech for having this opportunity to acknowledge her, because this is her final walk, and we are helping, both my husband and I, Ruben. We're helping her. We're her scouts, so we go out scouting accommodations and places of speech that she can share her message. To keep her comfortable, we want to keep her as comfortable as we can from here to Quebec. We're just home for a week, and then we'll be rejoining the walk. So we would like to say Chimigwech, and to remember that, be proud of who you are, and to listen to your mothers, your grandmothers, your aunties, and take in those teachings and how they want us to respect ourselves as Anishinaabe, because we are the water protectors. Bojo, Kashkate Ganukwe, Nadishnakaj, Michigan Nadodam, Wikwanong, Ajudana, Nadojaba, Nijo Medeo, Ogichidakwe Nandao. My Shaganashi name is Patricia Shawnoo. The original name was Shawnoo, and we're Shawnee Ojibwe. Our family is of the Tecumseh family, commonly known as Tecumseh. He carried 3 names, and that is the most common name that is used. The Shawnoo Shawnee people on the migration, they went south at Niagara Falls. And when they went south, their name changed to Shawnoo. And that was the name our family carried here. But when the government and the Indian agents came here, they documented our name because they couldn't pronounce it. So they chopped it down to Shawnoo. But that name derives from the Shawnee people. Those grandfathers came here prior to the War 1812, and those families remained here after the War of 1812. It's so important for us as people, not only Anishinaabe people, for all people to understand that the grandmothers and grandfathers of that time, they gave up their life so that we may have a place to call home. What is now known as Canada, is something that has taken place further than 150 years ago. Now there's celebrations that are happening, and we want to encourage that we remember those grandfathers and those grandmothers that gave up their life. And when they did that, when they gave their life as that life sacrifice, they protected everything, the water, the land, the connection to all of our teachings that goes back to the beginning and that goes ahead 7 generations from now. This place, when they came here, it was foreseen that they would come to a sacred place, which is what we know as kettle, the place of the kettles. In our stories, it's called the Thunderbird Nesting Place, and that is a very sacred place. And there's also the flint, that medicine, that responsibility to our Anishinaabe men, our Anishinaabe Inini. They hold that responsibility to take care of the fire, just as us as women have that responsibility to take care of the water. Through those teachings, it's understanding in our family that the relationship and the stories that were passed down from our family member Dikamtha, there were many pieces of that bundle that were here at one time. And because of the interruption that took place through the colonization process, through all of those things that happened through residential schools, through the intergenerational trauma that we all experience here, some of those pieces of that bundles are down in Oklahoma, are out in Bad River, are out in areas away from this place. But there was one family of that family that retained parts of that bundle, and it was through our Shawnoo family that was kept in our family. And the last one that held that was our uncle. His name was Norman Shawnoo, and he carried that from the last generation, but he didn't have no children. And it was passed down to a niece, which is myself. And now I have the responsibility to carry that, not only for my family, but for all people. That we always work in unity for our culture. We always gather those stories. We share with our families, with our communities, and with the people, so they have a better understanding of who we are as Anishinaabe. Chimigwech.